Hey, good morning. Today I'm going to show you how to replace a door skin on an old Amazon Volvo 122 series. And I got this door skin, which looks very nice, from a company. Let's see if I can read that. Can we get it focused? Maybe not. It's from Classic Volvo Restorations down in North Charleston. You can hear, hey buddy. Yeah? You gonna help me today? Sure you are. It's raining, so you're gonna be in here. Yeah, you are. Hi. Right? Hi. Okay. Back to the door skin. Playing with the cat. So, the door that I have for this car that I'm doing for a customer came off of an honest to God little old lady car that he had purchased, and being that it was super nice shape, but she kind of banged into everything over the years with it, so it had a lot of dents and bruises. And this door was hit, bent several places, and then repaired. And then I tried putting a lower skin one, which on these doors they're very flat. And being that it already had big dents all over it that, you know, I pulled around, when you weld them on, it tends to suck the metal in. And I mean, it's not absolutely horrible, but this car is so nice. I'll show you it then. I had to put a quarter panel on this side because it was wrinkled, and which opened up seams, which caused it to rust. Same with the bottom of this door, you know, it opened it up and then it started to rust. The driver's side of the car was really nice shape. Yeah, you're needy today. So, I did put a bottom in this one already, which you'll see when I show you how to cut these skins off and, you know, put the new one on. But I'll go down and show you the car that I'm working on. Okay, for those of you that don't know what these old Volvos are, the 122s, this is my wife's car. They were built from, I believe, 1957 all the way to 1970. Could be wrong about the exact years, but that's probably pretty close. This one we've had for a good dozen years or more. I restored it. Back then, though, you couldn't get quarter panels for them, couldn't get door skins. You could get a lot of the floor pan parts, rocker parts. I did buy new fenders, a whole new nose piece from Volvo at the time when you could get stuff directly from Volvo on them yet, before they were bought out by Ford and they turned everything obsolescence on Volvo for life. So it's no longer Volvo for life. So yeah, there is companies out there making parts for these now. Now this is the one that I'm working on for a customer who was in the military for a few years over in Japan. This car was real solid. I mean, it needed no floors, rockers, the outriggers, which always rust out on these cars. These were perfect. It just had some, you know, bumps and bruises over the years from the elderly lady that owned it. I'm starting to put it all back together. We're going two-tone red with a white top on this car. It was originally a baby blue car. So the door skin I'm going to be putting on is the passenger side. This door was really super nice. That side was the one that was the issues. I put a quarter panel on the car. Let me get around here. Okay, this quarter panel I replaced. You can now get them. A friend of mine that owns Swedish spares in Carlisle, PA, he's supplying me with all the parts for this. Joe Lazenby's his name. I put a quarter on it. I put a new pan in the back. All the parts fit very well that I got. You just have to do a little bit of work here to get this to flow in correct. I left the original seam. I welded it right in below there, so you can leave that original seam. You can go in under here, and then if you don't want to take this out, where this pinch weld is, what I did is I split it right on that edge and then welded it right on that edge, which you need very little body work there at all when you're done. So dash is back in. I got the car running again. Yeah, the customer didn't want to spend the money for me to clean the engine up and really, go over that. That's something him and his sons can do, when he gets the car. Originally wasn't supposed to even do anything under the hood, but it's easier when you clean these and sandblast everything to just pull the drive lines out so you can, clean everything up, right. These engines, transmissions, they all come out very easily. Everything just drops right out of the bottom. Roll the whole suspension, tires, wheels, steering, transmission, everything comes right out from under these things. All you gotta do is just pick the body up over it and slide everything out. So, on to removing the door skin. Okay, back to the door skin. As you can tell, I sandblasted everything, the edges. I had put a new bottom in because the bottom was rusted out. I did keep the old channel for putting the weather strip back on. I have to weld that back in there. But yeah, like I said, I welded that new lower piece in, and just with the condition of this door, being that it was dented and pulled so many times, I just couldn't control the warping and how the door, sucked in, pushed out. And after long research, I found this company that can get door skins. So I had to wait 2 months to get it. They had them back ordered from Sweden, and I finally got it. Okay, first things first is there's a couple spot welds here you need to drill. This is your inner piece for the window. This track comes with the new door skin. So I'll drill these out and then flip it over and then grind all the edges off. Okay, the easiest way to take skin off is to grind the edge and only grind it down to where you see it separate. So if you think about it, it's just like taking a lid off of a can. You don't want to go down too deep though and get into the actual inner door frame part. But yeah, just grind it all the way around. And then up here, I'm going to cut it around where they have it brazed and then clean that up. And the door skin will pop right off. So I'll show you a little bit here of some grinding. I know it's kind of boring, but that's kind of what it is. And always remember your eye and ear protection. Sammy Safety says. I'm going to put a cutoff wheel on here. To deal with this new piece that I put on here. I had to weld these a little tighter, and it's also tacked along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this out, leave the edge on there so I can just grind that off without doing any more damage to the inner door. So, switch out to a cutoff. And this is the same technique they use on all door skins, modern cars, everything. So there's really not, a whole lot of difference in it. Okay, now from the factory, Volvo, they tack all along the bottom here. They plug weld, they're drilled and then they weld. When I put this skin on, I just tacked it to that, but now I'm going to be grinding all that off to put the brand new one on. Now, as long as my welds aren't still attached here and over here, this should pop off pretty easily if I got all my stuff correct. Yep, might have a little bit right there yet. They're a little harder. Screwdriver, I can pop that loose. Still attached here a little bit. Yep, I see it right there. trimming done. Right there, of course, is the door frame. This is the outside of the door. Got that all trimmed back. This is where the weld, factory weld was. Now you'll notice that there's a lot of corrosion along where the door skin wrapped over, even underneath. That's typical. I'm going to put this in the sandblaster, and I'm going to clean all that up, and then I'm going to primer everything here on the inside, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, I'll show you another little trick on these cars see if you can see that a little better. Where the welds are, here's a weld, there's a weld, of course there's a weld. If you take your grinder and just cut in between the two welds, then you can get a pair of pliers and get a hold of that metal. And you see how I bent that up? Maybe just bend it back and forth until it breaks off. See that? And then get the other one. And just, do the whole thing. It really makes it easier and less grinding. So I didn't get through that one far enough. Almost. There. Like I said, if you get as much of the metal out of your road that you can. There you go. Now you only have that little chunk of metal there to grind away. It's a lot easier than trying to grind this flat area off and get it all. It really does. It saves you time and grinding discs, grit in the air, and everything else that's involved in it. But yeah, just a little tip. And like I said, probably a pair of gloves would be the best thing to be wearing right now. But what's a little blood on the floor amongst video friends? This will be my first. So you see, 1, 2, there's one there, and it'll go a lot quicker. And action. This is the back side of the door skin, and the primer that they send on these it's just a gray shipping primer. I mean, it's not good primer at all. So strip it off and then coat it with a good primer. I use Rusty Metal Primer from Rust-Oleum. I've been using it for years. It really holds up well, and it's basically the same stuff as all this expensive primers, these rust primers that they sell in all these magazines and these high-end companies. If you look at the ingredients, it's the same stuff. So for less than $5 a can, they're charging $12. Plus you got to get it shipped. You can go right down to your local hardware store for this stuff. But yeah, it's first coat. I'll put 2 more coats on that. Same in here. Now you leave this, I put a piece of 3/4 inch tape across here before I primer. You have to have that bare metal on the edges. Along with this here, I have a piece of tape, if you see. Yeah, here you can see it. It's a piece of tape you'll pull back then. You have to have that bare metal to put the panel bonder down on before you put the skin on, and that'll seal that without having to weld it, and it also seals it from moisture and everything. It's what they're using now on everything from the factory. So until that dries, we'll go to the next step.